For the first time ever, the Sooner State will host a championship in one of the 4 major professional U.S. team sports. Oklahoma City absolutely ready for its moment in the spotlight.
Chesapeake Energy Arena, thunderstruck in a sea of blue and white. Some of the most passionate and loyal fans in sports are packed in, ready for Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
LeBron James ready for his 3rd NBA Finals. Winless in his first 2 attempts. The pressure is on LeBron in a season that's title or nothing for the Miami Heat.
For the Miami Heat, a stunning ending to one of the more compelling seasons in NBA history.
Anytime you get to you feel like you get to the top of the mountain and you fall off, it's definitely a personal failure.
Miami has another chance. A chance to redeem last year's collapse. A chance to silence those who doubt. But with that chance comes pressure. Pressure to win now.
You gotta want this game as bad as your next breath.
The task won't be easy against one of the game's most dynamic trios. No longer precocious, Oklahoma City is ready to shine in the spotlight.
And the forecast in the NBA is for thunder.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals is next on ABC.
Live from the NBA Finals in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, welcome to Kia NBA Countdown.
The energy and excitement in this building are greater probably than any other in the NBA. If we're lucky, we'll be treated to a series as special as the players. Welcome to Kia NBA Countdown live from Oklahoma City for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. I'm Mike Wilbon with Irvin Johnson, John Barry, and Chris Broussard. Let's get immediately to things you need to know about the Heat and Thunder. These teams split the regular season series. Each team won on its home court. Kevin Durant had 28 in his team's win. LeBron James 34 in Miami's win.
Michael, for the 5th time in NBA Finals history, the regular season MVP, LeBron James, will face off against the scoring champion, Kevin Durant, the 2 best players in the NBA.
Magic, it's also a battle of the league's most dynamic trios. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden versus LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. The Thunder's threesome leads the playoff with 67 points per game. Guys, it's all about LeBron James. He has a chance at redemption after a disappointing finals last year when he averaged just under 18 points per game, more than 10 points fewer than his career playoff average. 2 of the league superstars go head-to-head in these finals in LeBron James and Kevin Durant, and each has gotten better as these playoffs have gone on. James and Durant have increased their scoring with each round of the playoffs. James averaged 33 in the conference finals against Boston. Durant nearly 30 against San Antonio in the West Finals.
Time to drive the conversation, Irvin. You have been part of some legendary, even iconic individual matchups in the finals. What do you think of LeBron and Durant?
I think this is Irvin Johnson, Larry Bird, number 2.
Really?
And a lot. Yes, because we're going to be entertained by 3 guys on both teams who are just sensational. Kevin Durant, James Harden. When you think about them 2, and then you add in Russell Westbrook, fantastic. And we know the Miami Heat's big 3 as well. And then, JB, I think LeBron James is ready for the moment. He excelled in the Boston series, averaging almost 34 points a game. He was on the boards, averaging 11. He's ready. This is his time. This is his moment. He better show up big if the Heat have a chance to win.
But maybe it's advantage Durant, guys. There's no pressure like the pressure LeBron James faces. Look, he answered the bell. Down 2-1 in Indianapolis. He came out with a 40-point game. Down 3-2 facing elimination against the Boston Celtics, 45 points. Well, thanks for nothing, because you got to get the ring. Unfair or fair, he's got to put on the ring. He's been sensational, but he's got to deliver in the NBA Finals.
Well, look, we know how important this is for LeBron. That being the case,
He's going into this game without one of his key road dogs in the starting lineup. Eric Spoelstra announced before the game, just minutes ago, Chris Bosh will come off the bench. How does that impact this situation?
Well, to me, he had a great game, 19 points in Game 7 against the Boston Celtics. And I think Chris is ready to be in the starting lineup. Now, I can't argue with Coach Spoelstra. He knows what his team, how they're going to perform well with him on the bench. That's okay. But at the end of the day, if I got a starter and a great player like Chris Bosh, and he just performed well, I'd rather have him in the starting lineup.
As long as he finishes.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we expect Chris Bosh has to in this series, given what Oklahoma City can do inside, which the Celtics could not necessarily. Don't we expect 35 minutes out of Chris Bosh, whether he's in the starting lineup or not?
No question. I mean, Bosh has to be huge in this series because it's going to be his responsibility to bring Serge Ibaka or maybe Kendrick Perkins away from the rim, because if they're in the paint when LeBron and Wade are driving, it's going to be some tough sledding in there.
Well, if they win, it's a brilliant move by Eric Spoelstra, but if not, oh, what is he thinking? And as for the Thunder, I think this comes down to Russell Westbrook. I think he's going to be the difference maker in this series. Rajon Rondo had a 44-point game against this Miami Heat team. Russell Westbrook, I think, is a little bit better offensive player than Rajon Rondo. I think he's going to have the capability to go off in this series.
And I think also, too, James Harden. There's no defender on the Miami Heat bench. Mario Chalmers and LeBron James, to me, are their best two defenders, but they're both starters. So when James Harden comes in off the bench for the Thunder, who's going to check him?
All right, you know what you're describing? We talked at the top about the two individual guys, LeBron and Durant. But you're describing all these other guys. That's why, Irvin, it reminds me of going back to the 80s and the 90s when you had ensemble cast, not just a big two and a bunch of role players, but 4 or 5 great players on a team, especially in the case of Oklahoma City.
And what I like, Michael, Kobe Bryant will pass the torch to one of these guys. Whoever wins this championship, that being Kevin Durant or LeBron James, it'll be their league.
I'm not buying that. Kobe's not passing to anybody.
Take it from somebody. How good has LeBron James been this postseason? He's the first player since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to average at least 30 and 10 in consecutive playoff series. Game 1 of the NBA Finals coming up.
Amazing is overcoming all challenges. Refusing to quit. Doing things you never believed you could accomplish.
Time for Gatorade's Prime to perform. What do you got, JB?
The Thunder better be primed to perform and stop LeBron James. They'll have to send multiple defenders, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Thabo Sefolosha. They must keep him off the free throw line. They must make him a jump shooter, and Kevin Durant must make him work on the defensive end. So, Magic, I ask you, how many for LeBron James tonight?
LeBron, JB, needs about 30 to 40 to pull off a win here in Oklahoma City.
Woo. All right, well.
Magic ain't letting him get his feet wet. He just called 30 to 40. Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder have not lost a game here at home this postseason. Perfect 8-0 in the playoffs. They're going to keep that up tonight. We're going on the floor here in OKC next.
Thunder. Forceful. Unpredictable. Rolling. Awaiting to be heard. Oklahoma City. Miami. The curtain rises.
Guys, it's about that time. Let's go downstairs a few levels to the floor. Want to know who wins game 1 and why? And Irvin, you look into the bigs. I know Ibaka and Perkins have interested you. Why?
Well, because when you start, you're not going to start Chris Bosh. So you got Shane Battier and Udonis Haslem starting. I think last game here, Serge Ibaka scored between the two of them 26 points. You know, that was a big game against the Miami Heat. here in this building. So look for them two, Kendrick Perkins and Serge Ibaka, to try to dominate down low against the smaller Heat players.
I think Miami, by going small, is trying to draw them out of the paint. They don't want Perkins, they don't want Ibaka sitting in there when James and Wade take the ball to the basket. But if I'm Oklahoma City, I'm not buying that. I'm staying in there. I'm not letting these guys get to the rim. And if Shane Battier wants to take 17 threes tonight, you can bet they're going to give them to him.
Remember, when these guys got together to take their talents to South Beach, one guy was already in South Beach, Dwayne Wade. And I think he's going to be critical because he's got to go against Thabo Sefolosha, and that's a tough matchup if it was just Sefolosha. Long, bothersome, strong, can chase Wade for, 30 minutes a game? But that's not all. Wade also, on his change of pace guy, has to go against Russell Westbrook, who's a bull defensively. We saw him get after Ginobili and Tony Parker, and it was all over for San Antonio. So all of a sudden, Dwayne Wade's got to produce, and we've seen him produce. He is an NBA Finals MVP, but he's got an assignment to beat those two that is difficult to say the least.
Well, he better get over those first half woes.
Yeah, no
under
question.
6 points and under 30% shooting against the Celtics in the last round. Can't do that against this Thunder team.
Dwayne Wade has been ordinary in these playoffs by his standards. Look, when I look at this matchup, I find more reasons to pick the Thunder, but I'm picking the Heat. I think LeBron James has to go berserk in this series if he wants that ring.
Well, in the fourth quarter, it's going to come down to who got the best small team, because both teams like to go and play their perimeter players, so we're going to see who's going to win. Tonight, I'm going to start it off. I'm going with Oklahoma City at home for the first win.
What about the series?
The series, I picked Miami to win, so I'm going to have to stick with Miami to win the series. LeBron James is ready for his first title.
Tonight, the danger game, I think Miami has a great chance to get game one. I think Oklahoma City might be overhyped, but I'm going OKC, and I think they win this series, the Thunder, in 6.
There's no difference between these two teams. Miami may have the greatest player, but Oklahoma looks to have a little better team. It's a 7-game series. I'm going with home court advantage of OKC.
I got the Heat in 6. Because they can't. I don't think they can win it in 7, so they got to do it in 6.
Thank you for watching Kia NBA Countdown. The national anthem starting lineups are next, but first, here's Dwayne Wade's moments ago firing up the Heat before Game 1.
This is what we all put our sacrifice for, man. This is the reason we all here together. This is what we dreamed about since we was kids. All our lives, getting to this moment. So let's seize this moment. Let's seize every opportunity, man. Don't get too high, don't get too low.